Hello, lovely student. Welcome to my lesson on user-defined methods. This is lesson 3 of a series of lessons. Today we're going to focus on procedures and we're going to be doing an activity. Let's take a look at the activity. So we're going to write a procedure called generate password that receives the learner's full name and a randomly generated 2-digit number as parameters. The password comprises of the first 2 letters of the full name, followed by the last 3 letters of the surname, followed by the $sign, and then by the randomly generated number. You must write code on the button Generate to do the following. Enter the full name using an edit box. Randomly generate a 2-digit number. Call the procedure Generate Password and display the following: the full name and the password. So this is a sample output. If the full name entered was John Smith, the password will be JO, which is the first 2 letters of the full name. ITH is the last 3 characters of the full name, followed by a $sign and followed by a randomly generated 2-digit number. Let's go and take a look at the code. So let's look at the Delphi coding for this, and together we're going to write the coding in this lesson. So I've got a panel with a heading, a memo to display, and a button called Generate. Let's go and code the procedure. So we know that the procedure starts with the keyword procedure. The name of the procedure is called Generate Password. And I need to bring in 2 parameters into this procedure. So let's bring in S full name, and it is of data type string. I'm going to separate it using a semicolon because it is 2 different data types. And I need to bring in the random number that I'm going to generate, and that is of data type integer. Okay. Control, your shift key, and the letter C all simultaneously will take you to the framework. So in this procedure, I need to extract the first 2 characters of the full name. I need to extract the last 3 characters of the full name, and then I also need to generate the password. So I've got 3 variables of data type string. So let's get the first 2 characters. To get the first 2 characters, I could use copy, and I'm copying from my formal parameter that I'm bringing into this procedure. So my formal parameter is called S full name, use it. So I'm copying from S full name, and that is the variable that I'm going to be using in my procedure. I want to copy 2 characters. So I start at position 1 and I'm going to take 2 characters. I then want to get the last 3 characters. So I created a variable. Again, I want to copy. And I want to copy again from S full name. I want to copy from S full name. And my starting position is going to be the length. So length will take me to the end. Okay? But I want the length of S full name. And I want to start 2 characters before, so it's going to be -2. So the length -1, -2 will take me to the last 3 characters. So that's where I want to start. And then my third parameter is how many characters I want to copy. And I want to copy 3. If I do not stipulate the third parameter using copy, it'll copy to the end of the string either way. Right, so now I want to formulate my password. So my password is the first 2 characters plus the last 3 characters plus the $sign plus. And I want to join it with this parameter that I'm bringing in, which is the random number that's going to be generated. And that number is rand num. Now, because I'm concatenating it into a string, I have to convert that from int to string. And all I want to do is display. So I'm going to use my memo that I've created to display. And I want to display the full name, which is S full name, plus let's use a #9 to space it out neatly. And I want to display the password. So it's S password. So the first thing that we had to do was declare your procedure. And we've done that. Secondly, we went into the definition and we coded it. And remember, the name of the procedure, including its formal parameters, is what we call a method definition. And the last part of it now, remember I said to you that the procedure has no value, no use if it is not called. So let's call it on the button that I've created. So I'm going to go to generate, double click on it, and here I'm going to call the generate password in this button. But before I call it, I need to create some variables. So I need to enter a full name, and the full name is of data type string, and I also need to get a random number, and the random number is of data type integer. So let's get values for that. I want to use an input box because I want to do a modification of this program, and it will make my life a little bit easier if I use an input box. Okay. So let's use full name, get name. And the next value I want to get is the random number generated. So let's get that random number. I'm going to use random range. And random range is called with 2 parameters. And the first one is I want to generate a 2-digit number starting at 10, and I want it to end at 99, so that will now end at 100. Okay, sorry. That must be separated with a comma. So now that I've generated the random number, I can now call my generate password, because I can then send 2 values as arguments that will match these 2 parameters, formal parameters. So let's call the generate password. Remember, a procedure is called by its name. Generate password, and generate password needs 2 arguments to be sent to it. So the first argument I need to send is S full name. And the second argument I need to send is I rand num. So note that this argument matches this formal parameter. The data type must be the same. The number of arguments must match the number of formal parameters. And lastly, the order must be the same. So if I call full name first, the argument that goes here must be the full name. Otherwise, the wrong value will be mapped onto the wrong formal parameter. So if I call random number, comma S full name, the number will be mapped onto the name. So again, the number of arguments when your procedure is called and the arguments that are sent to the procedure, the number of arguments must match the number of formal parameters, the data types must be the same, and the order must be the same. Okay, so let's run this program. I've called my procedure, let's run it and see how it works. So if I had get name, let's enter Sam Smith. And it gave me the first two characters is SA, the last three characters is ITH, followed by a $ and a 2-digit random number. I do not have to rewrite code all the time. Remember, it prevents the repetition of code. That is why we write procedures. So I can call this procedure a number of times and it can work for multiple. Here we worked for one name. Let's try it and see what happens if I put a loop into it. So let's create a loop counter I and quickly modify this program. So your I, let's put in 5 people's details. And let's run our loop from 1 to 5. And let's see how this works for 5 people. Okay, now remember I would also need some headings because I'm displaying. So let's go with putting some headings. Remember, your headings always come before a loop. If I put it in the loop, it's going to run that number of times. So let's put in a heading for the full name. And a heading for the password. Okay, let's run this and see how it works. So all I did was I incorporated the same code into a loop, and generate password is going to be called that number of times that the loop is going to be executed. So let's run it and see how it works. Okay, so click on your generate button and let's type in some names. Okay, so it displayed the full name of the person and a corresponding password. This program is ideal when I want to create logins for learners and there's just a numerous amount of learners. Thank you, learners, for listening. Stay inspired, stay motivated, and enjoy the next lesson. Please follow me on my next lesson.